So the topic I wanted to discuss today was around progress and the importance of progress when it comes to anything you're trying to achieve. The most important things to cultivate is awareness. And using it for good, using it to build people up, not tear them down. We really want our disappointments to be the springboard for our future successes. Any goal that you have, you're either progressing towards that goal or you're progressing away from that goal. So you ultimately have a choice to make. Do you want to move in the direction of the goal or do you want to move away from it? And every time we are doing something, with whatever goal we ultimately have in mind, whether it's a health goal or a finance goal or a business goal or a money goal, whatever those goals that you set out to achieve, you're making a decision. When you set up a time to do the work and you don't do it, or you set up a time to run and you plan out this great schedule for running and you do it and you follow through, and you're making that progress towards that particular goal. So it's not just about progressing forward, it's understanding that there's the potential that you're also progressing back. You're always making that distinction or that decision. And when I started thinking about that, it really brought a different level of awareness when it came to achievement and it came to my goals. One of the things that I always say in conversations with people is choose your hard. Choose which one's going to be hard. Sometimes you look at people, for example, that are overweight. It wasn't easy to get to be overweight. It's not easy being overweight. It's hard. It's hard to be living in a body that you can't walk up and down stairs without getting out of breath. You can't walk around. You can't run. You end up having inflammation problems. You end up having different things that come with being overweight that affect your health. It's hard. So is the other side. You want to work out. You want to eat less. You want to curb what you're eating. That's hard too. But we can't lose sight of the fact that so is what you're doing. So is where you're at. That's also hard. So choose your hard. Which hard do you want? Do you want the one that's going to keep you in that same place or hold you prisoner or keep you in that rut? Or do you want the hard that's going to make you feel great? Whether it's emotionally or physically. You get the opportunity to say, hey, I did that. So there's always a path that's going to come with a certain level of difficulty. So when it comes to progress, you ultimately have to choose your hard. If you're trying to get somewhere, whatever that destination is, point A to point B, here's where I am, here's where I want to be, I want to close that gap. I want to get in that direction. Is it even possible to get there without progress? You need some level of progress, which leads me to the question, that simple question, but I really like the profoundness of it, and it's, what progress can I make? What progress can I make when it comes to whatever I'm trying to achieve? And whatever incremental amount you progress, you're getting closer to what you want to achieve. I forget who it was, but maybe it was Pat Riley, but I'm not 100% sure. He used to talk about practice when he was coaching the Lakers. And he always wanted to get 1% better. Imagine how far you can go if every day you got 1% better. Even every week, you got 1% better at whatever goal you're trying to achieve. So when you think about progress, sometimes we look off at this goal that can be somewhat scary, or maybe even a lot scary. And that's good. That's good. That usually means you're heading in the right direction. But sometimes we have to say, not overwhelm ourselves with the goal, but say, what can I do now? What can I do today? What can I do to get me 1% better? Where's my comfort level at? Maybe you don't have to schedule 5 hours or 3 hours or every Monday through Friday, every evening. Maybe you do. But maybe it's hey, I'm gonna do 3 hours this week. I'm gonna work out 3 times. I'm gonna work out 4 times. I'm gonna read every night for a half an hour. Or I'm gonna read 4 times or 5 times a week for a half an hour. I say this kind of chunking down method because if you do what you feel comfortable, when you say, yeah, I can do that. I can do that. Then what ends up happening? You do it. As opposed to sitting there and ultimately nothing gets done. Nothing ends up happening. So when you're paralyzed, whatever the goal is, when you're paralyzed, whether it's weight loss or working out, again, we went through the list. What can I do? What can I do that I know, you know what? Yes, I can do that. Because when you get to that place, you find yourself in a pretty good state. When you know, I can accomplish that. The other thing what happens is when you start doing these things, you build momentum. And momentum is so big. Think of it like a rocket ship. How much energy it takes to lift that rocket ship up into orbit. It all happens right at the beginning. All that energy to get going and to get started. And then eventually you find yourself in orbit where it's not nearly as hard as it once was when you first started. So progress leads to momentum. And then ultimately you start to see those results. And what happens when you stop? Same thing, you have to kind of restart. You have to rebuild that momentum. And that comes with some challenges, of course, to kind of get that going. So I wanted to share a little bit of my insight and my thoughts that I've been having recently around progress. I hope you found it helpful. I hope it maybe changed a little bit of the way you look at things so you can start making progress towards the goals and achievements that you have.